Now this figure 20-20 deals with guarding transformers in some manner. Now notice when you look at 450.8a, it's mechanical protection. And maybe you have a separate arrive system sitting on the floor in an area where forklifts are active. Then you could set posts in the concrete, or you could have a hole in the concrete with a post there and they'd be removable. And you would keep your clearance rules of table 110.26 A1, and you would protect that transformer, encased transformer with enclosure, whatever, from a forklift hitting it or any other traffic that is moving through that area. Now, 250.8b deals with the components, the windings, the lugs, the termination points of a transformer are encased in an enclosure or a casing. And then 450.8c kind of deals with transformers that are elevated, that have exposed live parts. 450.8d deals with markings on these transformers or fences, whatever you may have. Now, the basic rule is that we protect transformers from damage, and we isolate where they have exposed parts. Now notice the three main, I call golden rules, so to speak, is the transformers can be isolated in a room, locked room, where only qualified people have access as permitted by the code. Or they could have permanent partitions, screens, things of that nature that would be installed, again, that would isolate the transformers. Or by height. They're isolated by height, these exposed parts. And basically, 50 to 300 volts, you'd need to be 8 feet above the floor. And that would prevent unauthorized persons from making contact and getting shocked or hurt in some way. When the voltage is over 300, up mainly to 600 volts, is 8 foot 6 inches is the elevation height. And when you're above 600 up to 1,000 volts, it's 8 foot 7 inches, respectively. Now we can find these rules in 450.8 of the code. But now our figure that we're going to look at, which would be figure 20-20 from Stallcup's design book, volume 2, and we're looking at figure 20-20. Now notice what we have here in the figure 20-20. We have a fence, and we have 450.8D here. See the warning sign on the fence here? Warning that there's exposed parts behind that fence. And then we have call outs here that that's important, in relation to the fence to get the height and that kind of thing. But notice we are encasing it with a fence, so to speak, to completely surround it. And any of those exposed parts in there are behind this locked gate, and only qualified people have access. Now you could just easily have a transformer encased in an enclosure sitting on the floor and have mechanical protection by 450.8a, which a lot of you electricians have. And those posts are either permanent with distances in front for your working clearances to meet table 110.26a1 or 110.26a1 through a3 mainly, see, for your just working clearances. Now, that's what this figure 20-20 is illustrating, that a transformer, in this case, those transformers, you see 3 of them with those exposed parts there, are fenced in with a locked gate with a warning on it to prevent unauthorized persons from making contact with those energized components and receiving a deadly shock or getting burnt severely bad and in some cases it may be fatal. And that's what this figure 20-20 is illustrating to electricians who deal with these transformers and have the responsibility to make sure they are protected in such a manner that unauthorized personnel will not be hurt by these transformers.